I'm just checking to see if this thing's working. So guys, this is Shaney Entertaining with another live stream. If this thing's working. And so guys, I said I was going to do, hold on, let me shut myself up. I can't stand the live stream. You're the, I have two windows open so that I could see what I look like to you guys, or see the chat room mostly. I don't know why the chat room never goes where I want it to go. So stupid. I don't know. When I start getting angry, I become Homer Simpson. No. Yeah, guys. So it's me, and I'm back. I'm gonna wait for. I don't know if I'll wait. I usually say I will wait, but then I don't. I just yep. That's the dub, the Bionic Boosh. That's bionic mouth in French. My teachers used to call me that. So I'll wait to see if anybody shows up. If they do, if they don't make no difference. I'm still going to do it as per usual. Usually people do show up. So actually, I've never had one of these where no one showed up. Watch, I just jinxed myself. Anyway, but the point of these videos isn't necessarily just to discuss. I actually just kind of I just want to talk. So that's what I love to do. And the last video I did, the last stream I did, I kind of went off a bit on YouTube. A little vented some frustration. Much needed too, by the way. I think we all kind of need a moment of venting. You know, a moment to express ourselves outwardly. You know, some people go see the shrink, or a psychologist, or the guidance counselor, depending on your age. Maybe you go see your friend. I just vent on YouTube. So, we all have our things, but it's healthy. It's healthy. It's what makes us better people. Yeah. And I kind of thought it might have been slightly hypocritical too. I mean, you know, complaining about complaining. It's just here I am complaining about all the complainers that are complaining on YouTube while I'm complaining about the complainers on YouTube. So it's just just too much complaining going on. But I was more, my point was more about just how everybody's complaining about the same things over and over and over again. And that's, you know, that's kind of the thing. And just sort of like the way YouTube sort of structures itself as far as like needing to produce a lot of videos now, to stay relevant, because hell, even if you have subs, it doesn't mean a damn thing. Your subs don't always get your messages. Your subs don't always get, you know, alerted to your videos. That's why they always say, can you hit the notification bell? Just ring that dang bell. Bang, right? They always tell you to do that. And they do that because, because YouTube, if you're not remaining relevant, then YouTube will kind of bury your video a little bit. And so you got to maintain yourself. You got to maintain relevancy to be on people's homepage when they see you, even if they're subscribed to you. Because if you watch them, the YouTubers will say, well, you know, you obviously like him, so next time he does a video, we'll show him up. But if you don't see his video for another week or 2 weeks or something, because he hasn't made a video, YouTube thinks you're not relevant and then hides your video. And so that's why that works like that. So just in case you guys didn't know, probably a lot of you did. That's why people say hit the notification bell, because now, regardless of whether or not you like it or not, you'll be notified about a video. Here's the thing. No, not everybody wants to hear notifications. It's just very annoying. Every 5 seconds, if everybody had everybody's notification you were subscribed to, you'd just be hearing ding, ding, ding all day, and it would be very annoying and obnoxious, and nobody wants to deal with that. So most people, I think, have notifications on for just the important people that they really want to see, you know. So they save that for the special ones. So if you guys, if I'm on anybody's notification, I feel so proud and thankful for it, because that's what it's about, man. It's what it's all about. It's all about the notifications. So anyway, guys, so today I'm still waiting to see if anybody shows. So far I don't see anyone. Live chat. I don't even have it on. Oh yeah, I have somebody on. Nancy's there. Hey, Nance. So like I said, it doesn't matter if people show up. I know I'm doing it really early, and I didn't do any notifications or give any warnings. That's just how I like to do. Just like to pop in. do the pop in. I'm that friend that does the pop in. You know, when you're like busy doing something, you're on your way to go to the mall, or you're off to like some busy thing. You gotta go. I gotta go meet a friend or something, and I just pop in unannounced. You're like, hey, why did you come now? I mean, you could have come later. You should have warned me you were going to do this. That's me. I'm that annoying guy that knocks on your door when you when you don't want to, when you're when you're not in the mood. That's just how I roll. But at least I'm not the lingerer. I'm not the lingerer at the party who stays too long. At least I'm not that guy. But yeah. So that's what I'm doing here, guys. So what I wanted to discuss, I think I'm just going to get to it because people may or may not come. So if you do come, if someone does show up, other people show up, then I shall rewind. So the whole purpose that I made this video was kind of like I said the last time I made a video that I wanted to do something more productive with YouTube, and I didn't want to just come out and just spew hate and anger and vent about movies, the same things everyone else is talking about. Captain Marvel, Star Trek Discovery, STD, The Last Jedi, Star Wars, all this stuff, right? There's just so much SJWs and PC culture and all that crap. Everybody's out there doing that stuff. So I thought I wanted to do something more positive. So like I said, so this is what I'm trying to do. So today I want to talk about success. And here's the funny part. Not the funny part. The funny part hasn't happened yet. Now last time I did a video, people ask me all the time. We're asking in the chat, and even in my comments. It all depends on people kept thought I didn't think I was successful, and I think people were like, different people think different things about success. What does success mean to you, and stuff like that. And it's funny because I didn't really respond to that question because I didn't have a response. I didn't know yet. Because I don't know. And that's one of those things that I sort of had to think over, because what does success mean to me? And what does success mean to everybody else? And what is success in general? And that's sort of like a big old thing, right? Today I watched a video. Someone sent me a video from Arnold Schwarzenegger talking. It was a big motivational speech, and it was called, I think the speech. If you want to check it out, guys, it's on YouTube. It's called "The Speech That Broke the Internet." Which, guys, for those of you who are looking for titles to get views, make it break the internet. It doesn't matter what it is. Just say Ryan Johnson's tweet that broke the internet. There you go. You're gonna get 1 million hits. It's because anything that breaks the internet, people want to know, even though they're literally watching the internet. And what does that? That actually means absolutely nothing. Nothing ever broke the internet. Nothing's ever gonna break the internet. So maybe a solar flare, but a really big one. But other than that, and maybe a nuclear disaster, knock on wood, I don't see much breaking the internet. No video is going to do it. So it's funny because it just means nothing. And I've seen people use it a lot before, the video that broke the internet. Just shut up. Anyway, yeah, so it's like one of those clickbaity things. But hey, it means nothing. And it just probably do it. Try it. I think I'm going to try it. I'm going to retitle this video to "The Live Stream That Broke the Internet," and see how many people come running to watch this. This guy's breaking the internet, guys. You got to stop him. And they're just the pitchforks. I don't know if it's real pitchforks, but it's going to be virtual pitchforks. Just out there stopping me from breaking the internet. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. So yeah, there was a speech by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's called "The Speech That Broke the Internet." And it was sent to me today, and I started watching it. And here's the funny thing. Arnold, I don't know how many people I would have taken that speech from, because a lot of, it just seems kind of shallow from some guy you don't really know, just giving you a pep talk, because I don't know what he's done with his life. Maybe he's just full of shit. Maybe he's lying about his life, right? Here he is telling me, all this motivational stuff, and the guy doesn't even have his own shit together, right? So It'd be like if I sat here telling you motivational things. You're like, well, you ain't got your shit together, boy. But yeah, I think I think when it comes from Arnold, though, it's got more weight to it, you know, and not just that, because his voice also kicks ass too. So when you hear Arnold in his big hulking voice just yell, "I'm going to motivate you in the university," you know, like you just sit and you listen. I mean, is there anybody who's better than him to give? You know, the guy lived in Austria, became the strongest man in the world, Mr. Universe, moves to the United States. Becomes the biggest blockbuster movie star ever, or one of them anyway. You know, then marries Kennedy, has a chain of restaurants with Hollywood celebrities, and then becomes the governor of California. You know, it's just, is there anything he hasn't done? He hasn't gotten into rap yet, guys. I think that's going to be his next thing. Just Arnold Schwarzenegger with a rap album. You know, that would be kind of funny. I wish he would do that. That'd be the most awesome rap. I think he'd be successful at that too, just because I think his voice helps a lot. So if he was to actually sit there and do a rap, I think that'd be pretty funny. I sit back with my pack of zigzags with this weed that gives me the shit needed to be the most meanest MC on this earth. It's in birth. I'm impressed with this. I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then I'll be back and say it again. I don't know. It'd be funny if he did. Anyway, guys, this is already off the rails. But yeah. So, guys, yeah. So the whole thing is like what he was talking about in that speech really hit home to me a lot, because he talked a lot about focus, and that was the one thing. I mean, he talked a lot about a lot of things. One of the things he said was, you know, we have 24 hours in a day, and we make a lot of excuses to not do things. And he would wake up and, you know, he'd spend an hour a day in the gym or more. And he was motivated and he felt happy to do that. And as long as he was doing it for his goal, so it was a labor of love. So it doesn't matter whether or not, you know, as long as you're doing what you love to do and you're putting your 100% effort into that, you're going to love doing it. And that's what he said. And it's that love and that passion and that focus and that commitment that leads to the success, right? That's what he says. Like, I'm paraphrasing it, because if I do, he's got to be very gobbled and he's got to sound very weird. You have to do it like that. There was a girl. Morning. Tease Phantom Grove. How are you? Welcome to my live stream. I don't know how long you've been watching though. Do I have to start all over again? Do I have to press the reset button? I'm talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger's motivational speech video. I don't know if you saw that. If you haven't, go watch it. It's really good. Gets you motivated, gets you jumping up and down. So yeah, so he talked a lot about how we have to like focus on our goals. And he talked another thing he said about 24 hours a day, and we sleep for 6 hours a day, and someone said in the crowd, or someone kind of shook their head in the crowd, and he said, "What, you sleep for 8?" And he's like, "Sleep faster." He just yelled at her, "Sleep faster." I love it. He didn't even take that as an excuse. The 2 hours extra of sleep. He was like, "Sleep faster," which was great. And then he talked about Plan B, which is something that we all kind of, I think a lot of us do. And I mean, our parents tell you, you can go for what you want, but always have a plan B in case something happens. For those who don't know, that's just my mother's voice. She doesn't really sound like that. You need a plan B, Shane. And that's what it is. You got to have a plan B. And what he said about a plan B, which means it's like basically if your first plan doesn't succeed, then you have something to fall back on. And a lot of people live their life with a plan B. But Arnold Schwarzenegger said he doesn't. He never lived his life with a plan B. He said if you have a plan B, you're going to be focusing, you're going to be spreading your focus and focusing too much attention on the plan B and not enough attention on your plan A. And therefore, you'll never succeed in your first plan because you're too busy working on your second one. So basically, you need clear-cut, straight point focus in order to succeed. And that really resonated with me because for my whole life, I've had a ton of plan Bs and plan Cs and plan Ds. And it's true. I spread my focus all over the place. It was like a shotgun, all out. You know, and I should have been more like a laser beam in my life. And I realized that was, and he even said it. He even called it. He even said, because if you don't, you lack focus, and then you go all over the place, and you don't achieve anything. And he was, you know, he was kind of right. You know, you don't achieve that much. Yeah, he just goes for it. And that's the thing. You have to be brave, and it comes from. There has to be a certain level of self-assuredness and confidence to do that, right? And he said there was naysayers. He did. He said even to him, people were like, "You can't do it. You can't do it." You know, but he did it. He didn't listen. He just goes for it, and that's all he cared about. But one thing he did say that also was important is the visualization, because he did say visualize the goal, because if he knew what he wanted, it wasn't just some scattered shot that he just was taking in a dark room. He knew what he wanted to be. He said it from the get-go. He wanted to be Mr. Universe. That was his goal. And he kept adjusting his goal as it went on, because he said that after I achieved that, I wanted to be this. And after I wanted to be a star in Hollywood. And then after that, I wanted to do this. And after that, I wanted to do this. And every level and every step he took, he had a clear-cut focus to that. And he said he was unwavering in it. And that's something that takes courage, and something that I think we all kind of lack today. We just, you know, we get very distracted. When I started my channel, I went for it, just for me. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's great. And therefore you'll be successful at it if you keep that up. As long as you keep that focus and you keep that enthusiasm, and you do it for yourself, and you enjoy doing it, and you work hard at it, I do believe it'll be successful. And you also have to have a clear-cut goal of what the achievement is. And that's one thing he said was, and that's one thing I've never had. That's my biggest problem. One of my biggest problems is that I have that problem where I can't visualize the end game. I have a lot of different interpretations and beliefs of things, but I think it's always sort of foggy, the end. And that's where I have to kind of, me personally, I have to focus on that. And I think that, and it's not easy. You know, a lot of people think that's an easy thing to do, to just focus the end game on things. And it comes from a level of confidence in yourself that I think you have to sort of have. And I'm working on, and I'll get there. I'm actually starting to improve. Arnold beefed me up. He gave me his Arnold juice, and I sat there drinking it. Very good. Arnold juice. Not like Luke's titty milk drinking. That's not the same thing. This is Arnold juice. This is man's juice. I don't know what that even means. But yeah, he got me going. Got me going this morning, and I wanted to say, like, I wanted to share this because I think for those maybe who are kind of like me, who we want to achieve a dream, we want to get there. But sometimes you waver. Sometimes, you know, things get in the way, and you don't know. You know, you lose your focus, you lose your stride, and then you do other things, and then life just gets in the way. He was talking about no excuses, man. He's talking about no excuses. Work is no excuse. He worked a job. He said he worked construction, and he still did it. His goal, and you know, YouTube. For those of us like are doing YouTube, it's a little different. And it's not an excuse, not making it an excuse. It's just reality. It's a bit different. When you're going to the gym, you know that if I do this amount of reps, I do 15 reps of this, 70 reps of that, I do 500 push-ups, I do 1 arm push-ups tomorrow. You know that you're going to achieve a certain level of success because it's a guarantee. Because if you do the right things in fitness, you know, you eat right, you put the effort into it, you know you're going to get the results. Something that's kind of odd, something that's sort of out of control, or believably out of our control, because we don't really know. We don't have the guideline like he does. You know, the nutritionist and the guy who's helping him work out. We don't have that when it comes to YouTube. We're just people sitting here in front of a camera, you know, saying, "Well, I've seen these channels do it. Why don't I'm going to try it too?" It'd be like him, Mr. Universe, going, you know, him wanting to be Mr. Universe, going to the gym, and then have no plan, and just, he knows he wants to be like this guy on the wall that he sees the poster of, who's really buff, you know, with the tight Speedo, and like that. And then he wants to be like that guy, but he doesn't know anything about nutrition, doesn't know anything about lifting weights. And there's nowhere to get that information for sure. And then he just wants to just doing whatever, going there, doing some yoga, jogging on the treadmill for 5 hours. He's not, well, I'm not seeing any success. You know, that's kind of what we're doing here on the YouTube. So it's a little more, it's a little vague here, because there's not clear-cut direction to take, right? There's no like, well, if you do 15 videos, you know, every month, or even you do 4 videos every month, and you do it on these specific topics, and, you know, you use this thumbnail, and you use this title, and, you know, you post it between this hour and this hour, and 100% you're going to succeed. And that's not how usually things tend to work in the real world. Hang on a second. I got to scroll down. Yeah, it's very hard. Everyone has, sorry, I'm not seeing the comment. Has a comment about how you should do it. Yeah, exactly. It's everyone has their own, like, and not every subject is equal. You know, like for instance, when we got started with The Last Jedi, that went nuts. I mean, you know, who the heck would have thought of that? I don't think you could have planned for how many channels just blew up because of The Last Jedi. That just came out of nowhere. Nobody knew that. I mean, we knew that it was a hot topic, but not to the degree that it was. And then the level and the wave of just, just successful channels that were made from that. And it all came from just the complaining and the complaining and the complaining. I mean, there was reason to complain. I'm not defending it by any means. It's just we didn't expect that. And then so it's like lightning in a bottle. And we think, how do we recreate that? And you can't recreate that. You know, that comes from an actual honest place, an honest, it was an honest anger. It was an honest, real reaction to a real thing that really happened. Love the title. Like to hear dedication and inspiration. Thanks, man. That's what I'm trying to do now. Trying to do something a little bit different, guys. No more. Try not to complain. Just trying to help us. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not here to even give people motivation. I'm here to, like, maybe we can work together on motivating each other. That's really what this is about. I'm not here to say, hey, I'm Shady Entertaining and I know everything about motivation. I'm going to motivate everybody. Get up, get on, let's just do it. I'm not the person to do that. I've got nothing. I mean, I was talking about success in the beginning, and I've had my share of successes if we're talking about achievements and what you wanted to do. And that's the whole thing. What is success, right? And for some people, it's the willingness to just do something. Some people just can't motivate themselves, and just the level of getting up in the morning, getting that exercise bike out and riding it in the morning, or jogging in the morning, or, you know what I mean? Doing that Rocky, that Rocky scene where you just crack the eggs, all tired, you just then jogging in the morning. That's successful to some people. None of us is perfect, but you're doing this speaks volumes. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. This is something that I want us to start hoping that we do more of, not just me, but like everybody else. Thanks, man. No, I really appreciate it. We have to stop. We have to stop. I mean, I'm not just saying, I'm not pointing fingers. Like, we all have this. We all have moments where we like make excuses, because it's hard. It's hard sometimes to, like, see other people succeed and you don't succeed, and you're like, and you sit there and you piss and moan, why don't I succeed? Captain Marvel. Somebody just said, Captain Marvel, your channel is great because it is different. It has its own flavor. Thanks. I hope the flavor is tasty. Velvet. I don't even know what velvet tastes like. I was going to say vanilla, and it just came out velvet. Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. I really do. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so what the heck was I saying now? Yeah, well, anyway, I'm just gonna go back to success. And what I did for success, what I thought my success was harder, because I had people in my life, no context, just Captain Marvel. Well, that's 90% of the internet. right? 90% of the internet right now is just no context Captain Marvel. That's just what everybody's doing right now. All these videos, all these channels, no context. Captain Marvel. That's what I'm gonna do. Just send videos, just say no context, Captain Marvel. But yeah, we my success is hard because I'm not a person that has a problem with motivation. I can motivate myself very easily. I get discouraged fast, but I can motivate myself. So there's a difference there, right? I can get up to go do that thing, but if I don't see it pays dividends right away, I get discouraged, and then I sort of like drop. I get that moment. You know that moment like where you listen to some 80s music or something and you get all jazzed up, like that song that you love, whatever it is. If it's 80s music, it doesn't matter what it is. You get that score from that theme, that Indiana Jones theme or the Superman theme, and you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, oh, I'm gonna do great things this morning, right? Da, 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 da. You're like flying out of bed, you just hit the gym in the morning, you do what you got to do, and then you just like you think you're gonna do all these wonderful things, and you're like, I know what I have to do today, and then you do all those things you know you had to do, and then the success didn't happen right away, and you're just like, oh shit, shucks, why didn't it work, right? And Von the Matrix, same here. Sometimes we need recognition when the grind don't seem to pay off. No, that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Is Steve Harvey said something that really inspired me once. He talked about watering a plant, but it will if you stick to it. We want early results, and that's true. Yeah, exactly. We want to see that our labor actually means something, that our labor produces. And like I said, I was going to say that on that note, like Steve Harvey said something about how when you're planting a seed in the dirt, you have to water that seed, right, regularly, and put the sunshine on. And that seed, in order for that seed to produce a flower, it has to push through the soil, through the dirt, and it takes a long time, and it's pushing through all that dirt before it actually, you even just see like a bud. Dude, I'm telling my fiance about you. Keep talking, Steve Harvey. You are real. No, I'm like, yeah, he just pushes right through the dirt, and then that's when you start seeing that bud, just that little bud, and then that bud is enough to know that life is coming. You know what I'm saying? And that when you start pouring that water, you keep pouring that water, and that seed will turn into a flower. But you just have to go through that mud, and you have to go through the dirt. But that's the problem, is like you don't see it until it comes out, and it's still growing. It's growing in the dirt, right? That's kind of what he's saying. It's growing even though you can't see it, and it's growing within the dirt until eventually you stick to it. And if you give up on it, if you're just like, well, I watered it and I put the sun on it and I don't see it, and then you just throw it out, you'll never get to see it turn into a flower. That's kind of what he was saying. I know I'm paraphrasing. I'm pretty sure Steve Harvey says it better than I do. Steve Harvey's awesome. He's another guy that I think, another one that, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, man, and you know what I love about Steve Harvey? He succeeded so late in his life. Not that he always had success, but I mean, he didn't have mainstream like clout like he does now until later in his life, and that kind of makes us older guys feel like we can succeed at any point. And that's another thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger succeeded when he was like still a teenager. I'm still 20, and I can have all the strength of the will to build all my muscles, But then when he's like now. But I still believe he's got more great things to do, Arnold. But yeah, that's the thing with us guys. We got to work together, and I think that too many people. I think we're living in this world, and I started to notice this. And I've talked to a lot of people who are young, and I asked them, they're very discouraged by the world. Hey, Rhodes Rants, how are you doing, man? And there's a lot of disparaging things that it's like the news just tells you negativity all the time. It's just like, there's always this and this is happening, and this community and this, and it's just like terrorism and all these things, like, immigration, everything's coming at you, and you don't know where to, like, you just think that there's no direction, there's nowhere to go, on top of the fact that you have parents, and on top of the fact that you have friends and people telling you you can't succeed or you can't do this. Straighten up and fly right, man. You got to get your head on your shoulders. You know how many times I was told, even like, guys, again, we're talking about success. I wrote a book when I was younger. I wrote a book. Again, never tried it. I never got it published. I published it myself. I spent the money to do it. I didn't have the courage to go and actually try to get it published because it wasn't in my wheelhouse. Maybe if it was a comedy, but this wasn't a comedy. It was a real serious book that I studied and wrote for 5 years. And I didn't want to hear someone tell me I wasn't good. So I never actually sent it, not to one place. And I heard a lot of people say, well, Shane, what business do you have writing a book? And I just did it for myself, and I wrote it. And that was successful. And that was success to me because I started something and I finished it. Where can I buy this book, bro? I'm working on the novel. Oh, yeah, dude, like you can buy it on Amazon. I mean, it's just look up SM Martins. That was my pen name. I wanted to keep my comedy name and my pen name separate. It's just, it's basically, I'm not here to, I'm not plugging my book, by the way, guys. I made that a long time ago. that was completed in 2010. So I'm not trying to advertise that, by the way. It's hard. It's easy to say, don't care about what the haters say. But they say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's bullshit. It hurts, man. It does. And the more you hear it, the more it infects you, right? And like anyone could just say there, oh yeah, don't let it bother you. We're all human, man, and words do bother us. Even on YouTube, you pretend it doesn't, especially when someone sends, like, you do a video and someone just shits on it on the comments. That hurts. Yeah, it does hurt, and we can sit there and say, oh, it's easy to say, but when in practice, it does affect us. And yeah, we shouldn't let it control us. And I get what you mean by that. You should never let it control you. You should never let words and it never has. It never has controlled me. In fact, you know what negativity does to me? And it always has done this. It actually motivates me. When I hear someone say you can't do something, that's when I say, what? Whoa, them's fighting words. That's kind of what I do. I hate when I love when you tell me something I can't do. Like even in gym class, I was a short guy. I still am. I hadn't grown. I'm a short guy, but I'm really good at sports. But because I was short, people just assumed that I wasn't good. And it used to be picked last a lot. I'm back. Had to restart. Sorry, man. I don't know what the last thing you said something. I don't know what was the last thing I said. Maybe I'll re-say it. Yeah, my book, guys. My book is kind of like the Da Vinci Code, but a little more spiritual. I was really into that kind of stuff at the time. Like basically trying to, what do you call it? I was into the paranormal. I was into also trying to figure out mysteries of the world. And so it's kind of like what you would say the Da Vinci Code was about, except for with a little slight paranormal twist to it. And I researched it for 5 years. It's got the Freemasons. It's about Freemasons. It's about the Knights Templar. It's also about the vision of Fatima in Portugal. It's a fun. It was meant to be not really taken too seriously. We just kind of look at all things esoteric and just. But I don't believe in it. If you guys think I believe everything I wrote in that book, it's just something I wrote. It's not something I like sit there and I'm like, hey guys, you should believe in this. So if you do have any interest in it, check it out. But yeah, that's what that was about. And so what was I saying now? So you always lose track. Shoot. Can someone remember what I said and put down the last thing I said? It's early in the morning here. No, it's not. It's actually mid-afternoon. Anyway, yeah, guys, I really do think, though, that we got to do this to each other more often. We got to start, like, helping each other out with these kind of videos, whether it's not, because I think that's the only way we're going to get out of this. I keep thinking about how I'm into this stuff as well, discovering hidden, lost knowledge. Yeah, man, that has always fascinated me. I'm going to incorporate that more into my channel. By the way, I started with the Mandela Effect channel. I'm going to have Billy. He's going to start reviewing the paranormal and things of the paranormal. It's going to be once a week, hopefully. And I'm still doing my comedy stuff. Don't worry, that's not changing. But I love that. That's a part of me that I've always loved, is the paranormal and not just paranormal, but just the things that are thought provoking. I love that. But anyway, I think here we are. We have this world in which we're fighting against each other, and everybody is lost, and especially the young generation and the kids that I talk to. They seem very lost, and they're very fragile, and it kind of saddens me, because I see like this next generation, and when I talk to them, they're very littlest thing sets them off. The littlest thing hurts them, and then we sit here and we point fingers at this, you guys at that. And we kind of made them. We sort of have to take some responsibility for that. But I think we also, for their sake and for our kids' sakes and for the future and for just us in general, we gotta start taking some level of responsibility for the things that we say. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying like to say negative things or bad things. What I'm saying is, just know if we're feeding the negativity. You know what I'm saying? And if you feed the negativity, we're going to get a negative world. And we have to feed the positivity. I know it sounds like it should be a Hallmark card. It does sound like that. Yeah, they give up too easily, but I think they live in a world that's, and I'm not, again, it's not, yes, we all have to take responsibility for ourselves. That's the one thing I will 100% always say. I've never been one to ever blame anything or anybody for any failure I've ever had. It's always my fault. I take the onus on everything. Even the things that I could blame on someone else, I don't. You know, when my ex-girlfriend cheated on me, I took the responsibility for that. I did. People was like, "Are you crazy?" I said, "Hey, if I was a better guy, she wouldn't have done it." Not to say I was a bad guy or anything. It's just, you know, I that's how I've been. You're saying save what we love and not kill what we hate. Well, yeah. It's exactly. I see what you just did there, jerk. Never do that again. Putting Rose Tico's words in my mouth. How dare you? No, we got. That was a good one. Wiser in time. That was good. I didn't even clue into it too. You literally said it. It was just like in my mind wasn't thinking about that, and then I just sort of now I'm gonna go back and like that movie. Thanks to you. Way to go, jerk. I'm just kidding. Thanks, man. I really appreciate the kind words, guys. I really do. But I have and here's okay. This is something that's my thing. Okay. It's interesting because I have a problem with taking compliments, and people have always said, like, my wife, she always kicks me. She's like, "That guy just thanks you. You know, you should say thank you." And I'm like, but for some reason, my mind, I've always had this sort of hard time taking compliments, because I think maybe it's a self-image, but I've always had this hard time believing that people are telling me the truth. I don't know. I know you're telling me the truth. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I've always had that weird issue with taking compliments, and I never know how to accept it. But I'm going to try. I'm trying my best on that, and I'm going to improve. And I'm improving on that too. So I'm going to take it wholeheartedly with dignity and class, and appreciate all of the kind words, guys. But yeah, no, like I want us as a people. I want us as a people, regardless if you're, even if you're an SJW. You know, I actually did this, by the way. I sent what's her name, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, a message. I wanted her to be on Twitter. I wanted her to be on my show because I wanted to talk. I just wanted to talk. I know she was never going to say yes. I know she was never. I wasn't even going to hear a peep out of her. I know that. So it was just still. I know. I just tried. Just as you never know. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe she could. Maybe she felt that day was just like, well, why not? Let's have a discussion. I'm this way, same way, because my past childhood experiences, rough upbringing, LOL. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that kind of molds us, right? Is when we're kids. You know, parents have a big influence on us when we're young, and sometimes we take on their baggage, and it's not, and we can't blame them. because it's not their fault. They don't know any better. And kids aren't built, you know. I have things. My father, when I was a kid, my father said this. I was 5 years old, and I went to play soccer. And a kid came up to me, and he asked me to play soccer with him. And I said, sure, I'll play with you. My father was there, and then he said, "Are you any good?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty good." My dad pulled me aside and said, "How could you say that? Why would you say you're any good? You're not good." And look, this is when I was 5, and I'm remembering this to this very day, just to show you how impactful that what he said has had on me. Now, I know my dad, he just wanted me to not be egos. He just didn't want me to have an ego. That was his whole thing. He didn't want me to think I was good. Not that he didn't believe I was good. It was just he didn't want me to say it. But my mind didn't think that. My mind thought maybe I'm not good. And then it just kind of grew a life of its own since then. And there's a lot of little instances similar to that as time went on that kind of influenced why I probably have a hard time taking compliments. My father was the same way. Yeah, man. I think dads try to motivate us through like moms try to motivate us through like compliments, and dads try to motivate us like the coach, like coaches do, where they tell us like, yeah, you're not good, but it's just designed to motivate you, to push you further, because and my dad had this thing against me having an ego. He just didn't want me to have an ego. And so he tried to ground me every chance he got. And for my whole life, I kept trying to prove myself. Like, look, Dad, look what I could do. Look, I can juggle now. Look, I can draw. Look, I can do voices. Look, I can do that. And my dad the whole time was just like, yeah. Did you see that kid? Did you see what he could do? Wow, he's awesome. And I'm like, Dad, I just scored 5 goals playing hockey. 5 goals, 3 assists. Did you not see that? Yeah, why'd you take that penalty, son? He just focused on the negative. And that's why you grow up and these things kind of affect you. My dad did this, Wiser in Time. My dad did the same thing. I never do that to a kid. It's because the inner voice themselves, I'm not good. Yeah, exactly. It programs us, right? It programs us. Yeah, no worries, man. I'm like I said, I'm going to do more of these videos. Probably try and do it once a week. That's my whole thing. Like that, they don't mean to do that. They don't mean to knock us down. I think again, that's why it's hard to blame them for it, because I think they're taught what their parents did to them, and then they think that that's the only way to go, right? And look at Arnold. Back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, because his father might have said, I don't know what his father told him. I really don't. He didn't mention it, but all I know is that he, at a young age, had full, unwavering confidence. That comes from his childhood. That does come from his upbringing. He learned. I mean, everybody has some self-doubt, but to have unwavering confidence in the way he says he has. Again, he could say anything. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's not true, but his success kind of speaks for itself. So it's hard to like go through life and just like pull apart, the negativity. And especially when it comes from your father at such a young age, or your mother, or even your brother, whomever is important to you, and that sticks with you till you're older. Even to this very day, every time I tell my dad, "Hey, Dad, you check out my latest video on YouTube," and my dad be like, "Yeah, I'll get to it, son. Don't worry." And he'll always have something negative. Always. Why do you make that weird face? That's his thing. He's like, I make that face. I don't know. I'm like, what face? I don't know. I have a face. He's like, you make that stupid face. I'm like, all right, I don't know what you mean. Maybe I do. But like, it's still to this day, he still picks apart things, and it still bothers me. I can I'll take 1,000 negative comments on YouTube over one bad comment from my dad. That's just the way it is. And anyway, so that's just what shapes us, but we have to somehow forgive him for that. And I forgave him. I went through a moment where I did kind of resent him, but I learned that, he did the best he could. That was what he thought was best. And so, and because of that, we sort of like go through life and sort of like focus on sometimes negativity, but we still can't use that as an excuse, especially when we get older and we know is there, and we understand that it's there, and we understand that that this is the cause. If we use it as a crutch for why we don't do something, if we say, well, and when I was a kid, this happened to me, and when I was a kid, this happened to me, and that's why I'm this way. And then you say, well, you understand that now, right? If you didn't understand that, it would be an excuse. But if you do understand it, you know the cause, the root cause of the problem, you could work towards defeating it into getting past that. I'm 24 and I'm the same way. Yeah, man, you're young, man. You're young. You still have your whole life ahead of you. You're in your prime. Just know that you're in your prime. So this is the energy. This is the time where you have the intelligence and the energy and the strength and the fortitude to do everything you want. The older you get, it gets slightly harder because because you have more things in your life. You have more kids. You have more responsibilities, and you have less energy. So make the best of it now. That's what you got to do. I need to connect with my father. I know he tried and did his best, but sometimes I don't know. When the memories flood in, you get older, you realize certain things, it's just too much. I want to connect with him, just feel he won't change. He won't change. No, he's not going to. My father's not going to change. My father's never going to change. I see sometimes he tries to change, and then I see some things he just goes back to his old ways. Don't expect him to change. You can't expect others to change for you. It's an unrealistic expectation. All you could do is change how you react to him. And if you do love him and you do care about him, and it sounds like you do, then make that connection. But make that connection understanding he's not going to change, and just say, well, he's my dad. That's how he's going to be, and just tune out the stuff he says that you don't like. And maybe you can. Yeah, man, I'm here to help, guys. Anybody, anytime. That's what I'm here to do. This is what my channel is about. Making people smile, happy. And now I'm gonna try and be Dr. Shane. Dr. Phil. If you just do what I tell you to do. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, guys, we can't expect others to change, whether it's our spouse, whether it's they're not going to change, and to expect someone to change is unreasonable because everybody's got their journey, right? And their journeys are their journeys, and their destinations in their life are theirs. We can help them change if they feel like they want to change. We can also say our piece. It doesn't mean we can't tell them how we feel. We could always tell them people how we feel, right? To tell someone how we feel is important, but to expect them to change based on that is unreasonable. Because eventually what happens is if someone's relationship is toxic, it's like, for instance, if you're in a relationship and that person abuses you, and then you say, well, he'll change. And if I do this, he'll change. And if I'll do that, he'll change. And if I talk about this, he'll change. I mean, he doesn't change. And most of the times they never change. We keep wanting the things to change. And I was in an abusive relationship. I was. And I kept thinking that person was going to change. I stuck by it. I thought I was a superhero. I was going to save them. That's my whole thought process. I was going to save her from herself, and it ended up bad for me. And then at the end, I started realizing, she was never going to change. And it was kind of delusional for me to think that she was. And I knew who she was. I was pretending not to know who she was because I just didn't think that, I didn't want to see myself kind of feel like, when you see somebody who's not good for you, you kind of feel like you made a mistake in your life and you don't want to own that because it makes you feel like maybe I'm not worth something. But then you realize that, we all make mistakes, and it's how we learn from them that makes us better people, right? So, and I learned from that mistake. I didn't, and that's why I'm in a great relationship I am in right now, because we have to learn from our mistakes, and once you do that, you start realizing your own worth. And that's when I say that with my ex, the relationship I had with her, I realized that why I took the responsibility on that was because I didn't have pride in myself. You see, that was where my mistake was. If I had pride in myself and I cared about myself, I wouldn't have been in that relationship. And that's where I thought I was the one who was at fault, because I should have had more pride in myself. And that's what I think, where people they make the mistake is they think that the other person did something to them. But we are the ones who have to take responsibilities responsibility for ourselves and our actions. And it doesn't matter whether we get abused, because if we get abused, it's because we allowed it to happen, and we can't allow it to happen to ourselves, because we're our own people, man. And we have to take responsibility for even the things that happen to us sometimes. I mean, if you're walking down the street and a boulder or in like construction site and like some beam falls off and hits you in the toe, and you're just minding your own business, okay, you can't take responsibility for that. That's not your fault. You're just walking down the street. You had nothing to do there. There's certain things where you're not culpable for sure, but there are certain things that we are. And that's what I mean. Did I lose everybody? I feel like I lost a whole bunch of people. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm here to do, guys. I'm here to help with this talking, and if I can help one person, if I can help, I hope to help more than one person. But I want to help more. But if I can just help one person, if we can have an open discussion and we move the discussion from I hate you, you hate me, whites are this, blacks are that, Hispanics are this, gay people are this, transgenders, and this consistent argument about this and that. And then we're not, and ever been in an argument with someone where it just becomes name calling and then you just don't even talk anymore because it's broken down. The conversation broke down. That's where we are, man. We're all here breaking down the conversation because nobody's talking. You got this person giving speeches. You got this person talking down. You got this person hating, and nobody's talking. No one's trying to even understand the other side. No one's even trying to understand the other side because the conversation has diluted to just name calling and anger and animosity. And when you're in a relationship with somebody or even in a friendship, the minute you start calling you ever notice that you can be talking about sports and be saying like, no, man, this team is good. Nah, man, this team sucks because this and this and this. And then the minute you go, oh, you're stupid. Now the conversation no longer is about the sporting team, the team. The conversation now is about, hey, man, what do you call me stupid for? You're stupid. You're an idiot because no, you're an idiot. Now it becomes about you call them an idiot. And because it broke down, and that's where we are right now. We're mired in this you're an idiot phase. And now the conversation of the sports team, which was just conversation, is gone into something horrible and becomes a fight. Now we're not talking anymore. And that's where we are. We're not talking. We gotta start talking. And now it's like we feel like it's even offensive to talk. It's not offensive to open up and be honest and say truthfully what's in our hearts. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, unless what's in your heart is evil, and you're out to tear someone down, purpose, which is different, right? That's different from just trying to say your perspective, right? Because we all have a perspective of what our lives, what's going on in our life, and that's the thing. We tend not to understand from the other person's perspective. We tend to just like I've seen in this, and I'm not picking on feminists, by the way. Because believe it or not, I was a feminist I actually wrote a book. I'm not saying I was a feminist. I don't go that far, but I did see that there was a need for empowering girls, because I did feel like there was like a lost generation where I just saw girls had very little as far as positive reinforcement. And I even wrote a book, and that's what I did. I didn't go on and start ranting about it or pick it. I actually wrote. And you can check online. Again, this is not a plug, guys. This is just fact. I wrote a comic about a female superhero. I'm not even going to tell you her name. That's why I'm not even going to, because it's not a plug. So I'm not even going to say the name of it. I just want you to understand that. I did that because I believed that there was a missing, and this was years ago. Again, this is years ago. And I knew that there was a missing part, that we needed a new hero for girls to aspire to. And I didn't make her a Mary Sue, where she was great at everything. I made her a hero that was grounded, like Spider-Man. I made it like a Spider-Man hero. For those who don't know Spider-Man, like a teenager who's awkward, who's gets power, who doesn't know how to handle it properly, and has to build his his ego and his motivation to do the right thing. And that's kind of what I thought a hero should be, but only a female version of that. That girl, what was her superpower? She channeled her unconscious the power. Basically, I had this thing where your mind has powers, and if you unlock a certain part of your brain which is untapped, you could sort of have powers. And she inadvertently unlocked. Well, there's a whole thing where her mom, see, I tried to break conventions, was a scientist. She was the mad scientist, and she was trying to invent something to speak to our unconscious directly. And then what it did was she accidentally went into the machine, and she came out with an unconscious part of her memory, which was symbolized by a fox. And she had the power of a fox, which was a little bit stronger, faster, quicker, intuitive, can smell fear, can hear through walls, that kind of thing. And that was because she had something. And the reason why it manifested as a fox was just because when she was a little kid, she had a troubling something that happened to her that involved a fox, and that's how it manifested. And anybody else would go through the machine and would change. No, it's called Soul Fox. And I know I said I wasn't going to say it, but I said it. It's not finished. I'm almost finished, but anyway, it's up there. I have it in segments. It's like a mini comic series, but I did it it was designed for young teenagers, and because I felt there was a need for that. I didn't try, and I would never say we should change this. Yeah, we should change this character, and give it to the girls because blah blah blah. Because that's a half-assed attempt at trying to give somebody. I don't even understand why people accept that. Like why would you want someone's hand-me-down character? That's an insulting thing to have someone say, well, we're going to change James Bond into a girl or Indiana Jones into a woman. We're going to change that, because that's insulting. That's saying that they're not taking the time to spend money to actually advertise, boost, and create a character all into herself, and then have that be like, you know what I mean? Like why Ghostbusters all girls? It didn't serve a purpose, because why not create another group of girls battling paranormal in a different way and just come up with something new? But they didn't want to spend the money on that. And then they want to act like they're virtue signaling by saying, oh, look how virtuous we are. You're not virtuous. You're half-assing it. You're just trying to hit the numbers, and not really give them anything. And that's where I feel the problem is. The problem isn't that, and that's with everything. Damn it, my phone keeps acting slow. You're still on topic of the female characters in yours. Yeah, that's right. I'm still on that topic, but I'm gonna change soon, because but that's the thing. I think, like with this Captain Marvel stuff, what pisses me off is that I really do think that, like, what Wonder Woman did was great. She didn't attack men. She didn't put us down. She was a superhero. She showed virtue. She showed what a superhero should have been. She was charismatic. Her counterpart, what's his name? Chris Pine's character, for his name. He was on point. They didn't make him like a dummy. They didn't make him act like a chauvinist. You know what I mean? Like there was failures. Women failed in that movie. Like there was an evil female character, and her mom made mistakes raising her. It wasn't, and nobody was like this perfect world where all women were perfect and all men were evil. It wasn't like that. And what I'm seeing right now with these characters, like even in Transformers, man, it's like, boys, damn, I love Transformers. It's my favorite thing. And you could tell, right? And I was looking so forward to this movie when I saw the trailer and I saw Optimus Prime and I saw that. I was so jazzed up. I'm going to have dedicate my channel to this movie. Oh my God, it's going to be awesome. And then when I went to see it, I'm like, I was distracted. Yes, it was really good. It was a good movie, but I was so distracted by the sort of subtle kicks to my groin that I was getting. Oh man, make more money. Just so many like cringy moments. I can't even remember. There was too many. And it was just like, and I'm like, dude, this is a boys movie, right? Remember how they say, like how Brie Larson, here I said I wasn't going to complain, and look at what I'm doing. This is the last rant. Brie Larson was on about how this, don't watch this. It's not for you, white 40-year-old men. This is for us. And I'm like, okay, fine. But wasn't Transformers supposed to be for us? But it wasn't. Why are the things that are meant to be for us still not for us? I mean, I'm not saying 4-year-old men, but I mean men. Transformers is a boy's toy. I know girls I knew, like, I mean, one or two, but not many. It was predominantly more a boy's toy growing up, and yet we still had a female protagonist, which was fine. I have nothing against that. But the kicks to the boys' groins, I'm like, why are little teenage boys going to watch a movie and getting attacked for something that belongs to, that should feel free to enjoy? But they're not. There's just still a level of consistent knocking down, and I don't believe true power comes from knocking anything down. True power comes from climbing up, and that's the thing. How Arnold Schwarzenegger dealt with that. If he went into like one of his competitions and he built himself and worked really hard, but they swayed they twisted it so that the competition, so that he was favored and things happened so that he can boost himself, and not boost himself, but it favored in his the rules favored for him, whatever. Maybe they liked more Austrians and so whatever. It would feel shallow, right? The victory wouldn't be there. He would be like, I won, but I don't feel good about it. I wouldn't even earn it. But yet we're living in a world where people want things that they don't earn and they want to feel good about it. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's about fighting. It's about fighting through like I said, what Steve Harvey said, fighting through the dirt. It's that builds the character. This is another thing. It's the fighting through the dirt, and that builds the character. That we come out better people on the other side. Like when I was abused by the girl that I was with before, I didn't come out saying like, as a weaker person. I didn't come out saying, I hate women now. I had friends that had issues with girls, that were put down or were cheated on or whatever. And they went from such a long phase where they hated girls. They hated the opposite sex. And they couldn't resolve themselves to just forgive and say, well, this was an instance by one girl or even two girls, but you can't throw all girls in the same boat or all women in the same boat as these people. And I tried like, as much as I didn't like what she did and I hated her, believe it or not, I did hate her, but I still forgave her because she gave me something that I didn't have before. That was awareness of myself, awareness that I looked at myself really for the first time outside looking in, and I said, I allowed this to happen because this and because of this and because of this and because of this. I can point them all out, that the things that I did to encourage that. It's not gender, it's a relationship. Intimacy, isn't it? Isn't easy. Well, yeah. It's the intimacy. It really is basically relationships between people and how we understand each other. And that's really all it is. We have to understand each other from a level that goes beyond the surface. I don't think that anybody truly. Okay, look, I know there's sociopaths. I know there's psychopaths. I know there are crazy people out there, and I know that there are evil people. I know people don't believe in evil. Some people say it's all just. I was on that fence too. I didn't believe in evil until I met someone truly evil. She was so evil that she gave an aura of evil. She even had a cackling witch cackle. And I was on I always said, nah, there's no such thing as evil. There's just, but this person just kind of, one person just swayed my entire mind on she festered, oozed evil. You just walk next to her and there's waves. You can sense the darkness in her. She was from the dark side of the Force. And that kind of changed my view on that. But aside from that, most people, I would say 85% of human beings, we may be misguided sometimes. We may be misinformed. We may be ignorant of certain things. But I don't truly believe that most people are good. I do believe in that. I do believe that most people are good. I do believe that most people in this world, even good people, do bad things. Good people can do bad things for the right, and you could do good for, it's funny, you could do good for the wrong reasons and bad for the right reasons. Sorry, bad for the wrong reason. I don't know. I'm you know what I'm trying to say. There is still, I think, an element of good within all of this. And I don't think truthfully, we all just want to get up in the morning, have our slice of the pie And that could be the cake you eat in the morning, but the cake in the world that we think we deserve, and we're entitled to. And we think that, and we just don't want to be, bothered. It's your expectation that you have in your mind. T. Phantoms Grove says, it's your expectation that you have in your mind, and if they don't live up to that, when you're disappointed. Yeah, well, expectation, truthfully, expectation is a big part of the problem that we all have. It's one of the biggest problems, actually. You're right about that. If you expect something from another person, chances are that person will disappoint you. And that's where a lot of us, we kind of hold this expectation of ourselves. We have this expectation of others, and we want others to live up to our expectations. And it's unfair. It's like I said before, the same thing about trying to make people change. It's unfair because people have their own journey. They have their own life. They have their own goals, and sometimes not everybody is aware of yours. And that's kind of a big problem too. I feel like a lot of us live in this world where we're just and it's getting worse, where we're just centered on ourselves. We're self-centered, self-involved, and we don't look outside. We don't look what's happening here. We just get so caught up in ourselves and so caught up in what we're doing and what we're about and what we and the thing is, we're not in the world by ourselves, man. We're not. We're in a world where we're together. We're in a world with other people. We share this world with everybody. That's the thing. We never understood this. We live in a world with 7 billion people. 7 billion people. And we're all fighting for ourselves. You know how if we all just helped each other out, how different this world would be? If we all just stopped fighting and just started we complain about the 1%, we complain about this, we complain about that, but when we all know the problem, we all know who the problems are or where the problems are. We get distracted. We get distracted, and we don't go to where the target is, right? Where the real problems are, right? And that's the issue. We like to focus on the easy solution, the easy, and that's I don't know. I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm all over the place, guys. Am I all over the place? I feel like I think that's where I went somewhere pretty far. But I'm going to go back to this because it's important. About the kindness of people. See, I think that we live in a world in which is designed because we started off where human beings were about survival of the fittest, and we needed to be that because we were hunters gatherers. We were, we lived in tribes. We were nomads or whatever the hell we were. We were like, we lived in caves. We had to hunt for survival. We had to kill animals to clothe us. These things we had to be to survive. We didn't have plenty. Food wasn't plenty, and these were things that we grew as a culture, as a people, as a species to survive. We had to come to, and here we are now, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years later, and we're still living by that same goal, like that. You know what I mean? Like we're still ingrained with that. We don't need to be fighting each other. We have this. We live in a world. Again, I remember there was a documentary I saw, and it kind of hits me hard every time I think about it. People aren't evil. It's what's evil is the society. And I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a socialist. I'm not at all. I'm definitely a person that believes in you have to earn your way. Okay, so just so you know, I'm not advocating socialism at all. I don't believe in any ism. I'm like Ferris Bueller. I think all isms have failed. We got to come up with a new ism. That's what I think. I'm up for a new ism. That's my thing. You're like, oh, capitalism, socialism, communism. No, man, we got geniuses in this world. Can we come up with a new ism? Something that works? I'm not smart enough to come up with a new ism. I'm just saying we keep hung up on 3 isms, and we got 1,000. We should come up with a brand new ism that works. We got enough intelligent people to come up with a new ism. So I'm going to get a shirt called Newism, whatever that means. Yeah, but we live in a world where we reward negative behavior. The internet is a huge example of this. Yeah, we reward lack. There's no profit in having, for instance, oil. If we had an oil surplus, the whole world would be like the financial crisis the next day. The oil prices would drop. There's no reward for that. There's no reward for surplus. Car manufacturers, what's the need for them to make a car that doesn't break down? There's no need for them to do that, because if a car, you know what I mean? There's no need for a car to make a car that never breaks, because you never go back to buy another car. So we're living in a world that never rewards the best of mankind. It doesn't reward, it rewards scarcity. So if you're a hockey player and you're the best and the fastest skater, and you can take that puck and put it in the top net, and people will pay for that because you're so rare, you deserve 15 million a season. And then if you're the best garbage man and you clean that street faster than anybody and then with most precision, there's nobody watching it. There's no camera to watch this guy, do that. He doesn't deserve that. And I'm just saying that we're living in a world that's just not right. And I'm not saying that we should change like capitalism or anything. I'm just saying there's a new ism that might reward hard work and might reward that and maybe also reward helping people and doing good, and then maybe the world will change. Because I think the problem is that the reward comes from the negative behavior, and that's where we kind of veer toward, is the negative behavior, because that's where the rewards are. And I think in this world where you just want to eat, you want to survive, you want to hunt and gather, you want to get your peace meaning your piece of the world. We all deserve a piece. We're here. We deserve a little piece. And we're all sort of fighting each other. And we don't have to be. That's all I'm trying to say. We don't have to be. We could conceivably find a way, Jesus, we still have people dying of thirst. This is a planet that is 90% water. People are dying of thirst. What the hell? I'm telling you, an alien did come and land on this planet. They would smash their heads against the wall going, what is this going on here? We got people dying. We got people dying of thirst. And you got a planet mostly water. How does that happen? And that's what I'm saying. We got to figure this out. There's got a way to keep motivation. There's got to be a way to keep the work ethic going. And we gotta maintain this. I'm a meritocracy kind of guy. I believe in merit. I do believe that we put into this world what we get. And I do not. That's why I don't like socialism. I don't like capitalism either, because those people, there's always going to be people who will mooch off of other people. Other people will work hard, and there will be people who will mooch off of the people who are working hard, and that's not fair to them either. Capitalism is actually a good system, but the problem with capitalism right now is it's a good system if everyone starts from the same goal, the same shot. But the problem is that we're not all starting from the same line. We're starting from different blocks, and then there's everything is supposed to work as a cycle, but it's not, because unfortunately corruption and people are corrupt. So basically, in order for capitalism to work, I have to buy something. That person who I'm buying it from has to create a job. That job then has to be enough that could pay for my cost of living and to buy more things. And thus the cycle goes on. But when you're seeing there's so many, capitalism could work. We just have to put more restrictions. But I just think we should come up with a new ism. That's all. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know. I don't know. I just think there's smarter people than me that should be working on this project, working on this problem. I just think there's too much corruption in all directions, and it just breaks apart. So like if you like saying like right now we're seeing if they take jobs away and put it to factories in countries where they could, have cheap labor, that breaks capitalism right away, because now there's not enough people who are having jobs that could that can support capitalism, right? Because capitalism is a cycle. We have to work together on it in order for it to work. But if you have breaks and chinks and distract and things that are just breaking from the cycle, that's where it starts breaking down. It becomes less of a cycle and more of like a weird ass serpentine thing that's going all over the place because it's not working proficient the way it was designed to work. And that's unfortunate because every human nature is human nature. And that comes from this, we need to have, well, I'm all over the place, man. How the hell did I get here? I was talking about the internet. Now I'm on this. All right. I'm going to go back to something else. But yeah, guys, that's what I mean. I do think that we should be helping each other out. And that if we do cry for something, we should cry for something new, something awesome. There's got to be an awesome solution to something out there to our world that we haven't thought of yet. I'm going to cry for that and just be like a newism. But anyway, on a different note, on a more personal note, I want us to start listening. I want us to start listening to each other. There's nobody's perfect. There are people who make mistakes. There are people who say the wrong things. Sometimes people's emotions get the better of them and they say the wrong things and it gets taken out of context. And I'm even going to defend Brie Larson because I know everyone hates her, but I think a lot of the things she does say is taken out of context because people just want to hate. They just want to be angry. And I think that what she means is one thing, but what she's saying is another. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think she said something about, I don't want 40-year-old men watching, I think it was Wrinkle in Time. I don't care if they like that movie. It's not intended for them. I don't think she meant she doesn't want white people watching it. I think she just meant that it wasn't meant for them to it wasn't meant for them to inspire them. It was not meant to inspire white men. It was meant to inspire, I never watched the movie, but whoever it was meant to inspire was meant to inspire them. And so if we don't get the same out of it as they do, she just doesn't know how to speak. That's her problem. It's a breakdown of communication. She says dumb stuff because she doesn't know how to talk. That's what it sounds like to me. It just sounds like she just doesn't know how to express herself, properly, and it comes out stupid. And I think that's another problem we have with each other. We just focus on what we want to see in the words because it either helps our narrative or it helps our, fuels the anger we already feel. And that's also human nature, by the way. It's human nature to also, and you have to forgive yourself if you are that type of person, it is, once we're angry, it's like a ball and it just rolls down that hill and it just keeps getting snowballs bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we just want to keep feeding that ball because it just feels so good in that moment to be angry. And so we just keep going. And then we got to pull the brakes sometimes and just say, ooh, because that snowball's going to get so big, it's just going to level the city. We just sort of have to pull the brakes on that ball. It doesn't matter how good it feels sometimes to just let it out because you gotta get reserved at some point. And also the thing too is if we pick apart everything someone says all the time, then it also makes us look ignorant too because now I'm just taking everything out of context just so that it could suit. I do think she's going about the wrong way as far as Captain Marvel is concerned. I do think that the narrative is definitely not healthy for her movie, for the MCU, for women, for men, for anybody. I just think she's a naive person who's been taught something and thinks she knows more than she does. But I do, and I think that we're just, but we have to pick and choose the right things to get mad at, and understand the words, because sometimes words are one thing, but there's a meaning behind the words that even if she's saying one thing, we kind of know what she means, and we should just accept that, right? Just because she said that doesn't mean that's what she means. I don't think she hates white people. I don't think she hates white 40-year-old men. I just think that she doesn't think that she should care about what we think about a movie that was not intended for us. And she's kind of right. I mean, we have our opinion. We could say if we want, but I don't think that she should change anything based on what we say. It'd be like saying I watched SpongeBob, or I watched a cartoon, let's see, a younger kids show or something like, and I'm like, oh, that's stupid. You should change that. It's too dumb. Kids are loving it. Kids are liking it. So again, we got to take everything into context and then really understand each other and what we mean and what we say and how, because sometimes not everybody's born to talk. Some people are born to think, and some people are and not everybody can speak well and can eloquate, um, um, can put their thoughts into words the way some people can. And that's what we got to also be understanding with as well. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end it there. It's getting late. I have videos to make, guys. We're going to change the subject completely. You see back here? I think people have asked me enough times, and I'm going to show. I have my toy collection, so I'm going to start showing brief moments of my toys in some videos coming up. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm working on a documentary series. By the way. Yeah, man, I'm glad you came. You always come. I love to see you every time. You're like, again, you're a huge support. Talking about T's fandom growth, everybody else too, but she's got such a heart on her. I know you can tell she's the type of person that just has an enormous heart. And you're a good person in this world, and it's great to see. Thank you for showing up, by the way. My next videos I'm doing, like I said, I'm working on a documentary. Hopefully it'll be done within the next month, as I'm working hard on that. And but I'm going to keep doing some comedy stuff, some impression stuff here and there, a little bit of some more. Like I said, I'm doing some paranormal stuff involving Billy, who's going to be like breaking down paranormal videos, because I'm into that. So I'm going to be I'm going to take the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm not going to ever. You're not going to see me come on YouTube anymore and complain about anything. I'm going to come on YouTube and just be like, even if about YouTube, I'm just going to stick to the goal and make it work. And every day I'm just going to focus on making that the success, be the success that I know that I can be. And I'm going to go to the top of what I want to be. And that's success for me. I'm going to end it with this. Success for me is knowing that I am accepted. And that everyone's different. This is mine. And I'm being honest with this. Being accepted by the masses would be success for me. Because it's one thing to believe in yourself. It's another thing to have others believe in you as well. And that stems from my childhood. And if I'm honest with myself, that's what success means to me. It's being accepted by more than myself. And being and I know that may sound stupid to some people. But we can't help the things that we feel. So that's pretty much how I feel. I feel like, what I mean by accepted, I know there's a few people that like me, but I'm saying accepted meaning like a validation of things that I've always believed about myself. We do need validation. And I don't need it from my dad anymore, but I do need it. I do need it from a mass scale, because that's what it is. That's what it is for me. It's to be successful for me means that, maybe Cheney Entertaining becomes a household name. And I don't care about, and if it does, guys, I'll be honest with you, I'll do my damnedest to make sure that I help steer this world and guide us into something positive. It's egocentric to say, there's my dad again. What do you think? You think you're God? You think you're Jesus? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, we all have to take our own personal responsibility to guide into this, and to guide the ship. Right? We have to grab the sail. We all have to pull, because say this right now, the ship is going off. It's going on. It's falling down the cliff. The waterfall. We all have to pull part of the sail and pull it so that we steer the ship in the right path. There is a right path somewhere out there. You just have to all grab a hold of a part of the sail and just pull it in the direction we need it to go. And that's all I mean. That's all I mean by it's what I want to do. I want to have a voice that's strong enough that when I pull that sail, that my arms are strong enough to pull it with a little more force. And that's my goal. Anyway, guys, on that note, thank you very much for hanging with me and doing this with me. And I love you all, and I really mean that. And thanks for watching. And so till next time, guys.